Welcome to this week's DJ Force X podcast. We've been down for the past month just due to some technical issues on my end. So tonight I'm going to hit you, or today, or whenever you're listening to this, we're going to hit you with a double header. I have Adam, Clint, and Josh from Brothers Grimm. I also have Philippe from Rave The Reqviem straight after that. So with this double header, I'm going to cut this bit short, just keep it sweet. Enjoy. Welcome to this week's show. I have Adam, Josh, and Clint from Brothers Grimm. Welcome, guys.
What up?
What up?
How you doing?
Pretty good. Super.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Cool. Right, well, for the benefit of my listeners, would you give us a little background on Brothers Grimm?
All right. Brothers Grimm started back in the day. I used to work with a guy named Dan, and he came to me with the idea for Brothers Grimm. And he came to me with a bunch of dubstep tracks. And it kind of evolved over the past year. Dan moved on to management stuff, and I recruited these two gents, and we picked up the project and kept it going.
So, what do you currently have available out there that people can hear?
We've got an EP that I wrote with Dan and remade with these guys. That's a 3-song EP. We've got 2 demos on YouTube just for our YouTube followers, and then we just released a single, Home of the Vein. So what's that? 6 total songs? 6 total songs right now.
Cool. And Home of the Vein is a track I play on my radio show. Since it got sent to me, I think I've played it a fair few times. I really like it.
It's probably our favorite one.
It's our favorite, probably.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what are your musical influences?
My background is mostly progressive metal, such as the Contortionists, which is from our hometown here right now, Noblesville, Indiana, and then going into Pelican and all that good jazz. Last Chance to Reason, they're a great band from Maine.
Cool.
And then some pop, Sleeping with Sirens.
Mine is a lot of metalcore. For vocally, August Burns Red, Under Oath is a huge influence for me. And then some electronic music. I like some Datsik, and then just some house artists, Skrillex, all of those typical people.
My influences are mostly pop, I'd say, 75% pop. Other than that, a lot of Sleeping with Sirens. Basically any hardcore that is also pop influenced.
Okay.
That's what I love, so I bring that.
Cool. So, you said you had the EP out, and that was out last year, is that right? Or the year before?
I think last year, yeah.
Last year. Okay, cool. So, do you have plans for another release coming up?
Not specifically.
We have ideas of what we want to do, but we're not really sure of when it's going to happen.
Yeah, we have a bunch of songs written, or we're constantly writing new material. But we're kind of waiting to get on a label and get some official plans before we plan a specific release for it.
Okay, cool. What about playing live? You got anything like that planned coming up?
Yep, we have a show on March 5th, and then we have a show on March 13th. Here locally in Indiana, and then April, May, June, July, we want to try to get some shows in there as well, and try to play maybe in Chicago and surrounding states.
Yeah, we've been practicing super hard the past month and a half, and we're going to start going really hard on the shows. So
cool. So what's your live setup like? Obviously you got 2 vocalists and a programmer, is that right?
No, we just do so we have Adam and Clint doing vocals, hyping up the crowd.
Uh-huh.
And I sit behind the drums and control the backtracks.
Okay.
So we go in through iPod into mixer into DI box into system.
Okay. Cool. And you just drum with that, is that right?
Yeah, we play to a click.
So have you got anything are you releasing any more tracks at all? The one-offs you did with Home of the Vein? Is there anything else that's going to come out demo-wise?
I think eventually we might want to release a single or something. We don't really know what that is going to be projected but I mean, you could probably see something in the near future, a single or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking to record, and I really want to release stuff as soon as possible, but nothing definite yet.
So who would you It's all going to be you're probably all going to give me different answers, but who would you ideally love to tour with?
That's a really hard one.
I'd love to tour with Breathe Carolina.
Issues, for sure.
I like all those. I also want to tour with some like other maybe like hardcore bands or bands that really don't sound like us, because I feel like that's going to really broaden our fan base and horizons. I talked with a vocalist. He was from a band called The Chariot, and he told me one time that they tour with bands like Pierce the Veil, or when they were around, they toured with bands like Pierce the Veil and things like that, because they wanted to open their horizons with fans and wanted to gain new fans, and that was the best way for them to do that. So I'd like to tour with Breathe Carolina and Issues, and then I'd also like to tour with bands that really don't sound like us, so that we can maybe get some new listeners and get some new people to follow us.
Everybody wants to play with Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go through my questions here. But I edit these bits out, so don't worry about it.
So we can say anything we want.
You can say anything you want. That's the great thing about podcasts. There are no limits to what you can say. So. I know it's probably dangerous to say, but it's true.
I'm gonna dip you into Ziki. Sounds like Rafiki. We're goofing. All right.
No, it's all right. Keep going. So, when you're in the studio, what kind of setup do you have? What programs and stuff do you use?
Our producer normally uses Logic to do like most of the dubstep and the drums, and then he sends it to Pro Tools to do the vocals.
Mm-hmm. Simple as that, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
Would you look to expand your lineup, like having more live instrument based like live show?
We've talked about adding guitarists.
Yeah.
I think it would add for a cool live feel.
Our manager, Johnny, is really pushing for it. So I eventually think you'll see us with maybe some guitarists. But the thing about it is like we don't have a lot of guitar work.
Yeah, our music isn't
songs.
really like guitar influenced a lot. It's the more towards the dubstep end. But I think it'd be cool and fun to have a guitarist.
Yeah, and like Home of the Vein, like we do have a few guitar parts like that are layered in the background for just depth, but there's nothing that really in the other songs that we play that really have a guitar part. So maybe like as we evolve and as we grow as a band, we might add a little bit more guitar, and that may cause for a reason for us to bring someone live. Yeah,
like right now, the only guitar parts that are in there were super simple, and I just like whipped out a guitar and played them, so it didn't like require a hired guitarist or anything.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like,
yeah.
Okay, cool. I see, like bands like if you've seen them, Excision.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a band called Destroyed.
Okay.
And they have, it's not so much live instrument; it's like MIDI guitars and things, that are triggering various sounds and things like that. Have you ever looked into anything like that at all, or?
No, not really.
I didn't even know those existed.
I didn't really know that was a thing.
Okay, well check out Destroyed and Pendulum as well.
So is it like a modified keytar?
Yeah, kind of, but a lot more. It's like having do you know what a Novation Launchpad is?
Yes.
Yeah, or a MIDI fighter pad or something. It's like one of those, but in a guitar shape.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
So, yeah, they're currently kind of been prototyped and being made specially for these people, but I could see it sort of turning into a keytar type thing. Yeah. But it looks a lot better than the keytar. So,
well, thank you for introducing a hobby.
Yeah, it could be an expensive one. So.
Yeah.
Cool. So, obviously, you mentioned a lot of like rock bands being in pop or like hardcore. Would you ever see yourself playing with the likes of like I just said, like Excision or Skrillex or anyone like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would be totally down.
I would play with Justin Bieber. I don't even care.
Really, like our limits for touring is like 0. Like we don't care who it is. Like
put us in front of people.
If they want to bring us on on their tour and they think we'll fit, then whatever, we'll do it. Like it's not like we want to gain like the masses. We don't want, just to be like a local band. We want to really just broaden our horizons. And like Adam says, like we want to take it to the ends of the earth. So really whoever, Taylor Swift, whatever.
Yeah, we're not afraid to be the black sheep.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Because I suppose with the lineup you have and the setup you have, it would be pretty easy just to jump in a car with the three of you in a minimal sort of setup.
Exactly. That makes it super easy. We can just hop in the car and go to whatever state we want.
All we need is drums and a box. We got everything.
Yeah.
Drums and an iPod, and you're away.
Yep.
Cool. So, just trying to think where I can expand on stuff here. Sorry.
I don't have to mention his name.
Yeah.
So, what's the the message of the band? Is there a specific area you point to, or is it more open, or is it just like life or love or something else, religion? Do you have a specific message? Like I said, be it any of those or political or something?
I don't think we can nail it down to a specific message, but I'd say our biggest message would be just to like be real about issues. For me, that's a lot of philosophy, a lot of religion is definitely an aspect of it, but I want to make our listeners be independent in how they think. So however we can do that in terms of whether it be religion, relationships, love, whatever, I want them to hear the song and be able to think about their own lives and determine their own conclusions through independent thought and reason. So personally, I love logic and reason, and that's what inspires most of my lyrics. Clint might be something else, Josh might be something else. We all bring something different to the table. So
yeah, I think for me, definitely it's like life experiences and things that I've learned and like that I want to like pass off to people, like situations that I've been in, that I've been through that are pretty deep, that I want to like shed light that it's okay, like that you can make it through it, like that, you don't have to think that you're alone in it. And I know it's kind of like almost a little cliche of an answer, but it's really what I want to do, and it's what I've always wanted to do since I've been into music. Just wanted to really influence people to think differently than what everyone else does. Be yourself, don't think that you have to be like someone else.
Yeah, we definitely do touch on a couple political things. Like you said, Home of the Van, I don't want to give away too much about what it specifically means, but there are definitely a lot of political influences in that song that are pretty dear to my heart and affected a lot of how I grew up and stuff like that. So, we just write about whatever's going to hopefully have a positive effect on how people think.
Cool. You've got a couple of gigs coming up. Would you like to tour over the summer?
Oh, God, yeah.
Say yes. Yeah, I think that's something that we want to try and see if we can put together and possibly have set in stone. But there is something that we're going to be doing this summer for the fans, which is in talks right now. But we will be giving out the album. It'll be all the songs on a custom USB drive with our logo on it. And it will be for free.
Cool.
But they will have to come to our booth after every show to find out how to get it for free.
Okay.
So we will be doing that. And then who knows what else, but that is something that we have talked about doing as well on the future tours, hopefully, that we can book this summer to also kind of build up a little bit of publicity and kind of make it more of a relationship between our fans.
Yeah, cause they're willing to come out to the show. Like, we want them to have our music.
Yeah, we want them to enjoy it.
Yeah,
just like take it. We don't really care.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. Is like these days, a lot of bands they release, like you say, music. You're going for like the USB stick side of things, but just to get the music out there, I mean, people are releasing obviously vinyl, 7-inch, 12-inch vinyl. and even cassette tapes. Don't know why, but would you guys like? Obviously, I know you've like taken the sort of digital side of things on the USB. Would you consider doing a physical format?
Maybe a vinyl. I wouldn't picture us doing a cassette.
Yeah, I think we can say no to the cassette, but
yeah. I mean, obviously for albums and stuff like that, like we're going to do the CD release and like all that jazz. But
we want to really make this one available for everyone for free. I mean, it's kind of like something that, you know, they're going to come out and see us play this album, and they really, I mean, to us, it's not really a big deal whether or not, you know, they're giving us money for it in the moment. We just want them to be able to enjoy it, not only at the show and, you know, watching us, but also at home, like in their cars with their friends.
Exactly.
We want it to be something that they can associate, you know, us with as like a positive thing. You know, we're not trying to be greedy. We don't want to be greedy. We want to have a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Because like, I mean, these days it's difficult enough to sell the music anyway. So, like if people are making the effort to come out to your shows and you give them the free music, then that makes perfect sense. Because that's where a lot of bands, do you self-produce your music? Or are you pay for that sort of thing?
We do not self-produce. It's something that we'll probably be working towards.
That's definitely on the horizon.
Yeah.
Like I think eventually, like after we release maybe like a couple of albums or something like that, we'll probably do something that's more self-produced. I mean, we'll probably always have a producer, like the producer that we work with. Always will have like some sort of insight to our records because he's really good.
Yeah.
But I do want to see us more trying to like flush out ideas ourselves and would put them into action.
Take the dubstep noises from the mouth to the computer.
Capella dubstep.
You can only communicate so much when you're going like making weird noises.
Yeah. Where can people find you online?
Facebook, YouTube, Google Plus. I don't know if that's a fact. So
just type in the name. It usually pops up.
Yeah. Do you have a website?
Yeah,
Facebook's our website for right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think eventually we'll go there. Like Adam said in the beginning, we're trying to really get signed to a label and tour and, you know, do all that stuff. Kind of have that support.
Yeah.
And, once we get that, we should be rolling. We will probably have merch pre-orders too in the near future as well. That will be launched on our Facebook. We have a couple of shirt designs on there already that people can take a look at if they want to see what they are. And then if you want to comment on them, tell us that you want one. That kind of gives us a better idea of which one, or if not both, to release.
Yeah, so definitely go on to our Facebook, like all the fans that are listening. Go on to our Facebook and vote for whichever shirt you like the most. And if both of them end up being neck and neck towards the time we start taking pre-orders and making presses, you know, who knows, we may do both, but and I don't want any of our fans to feel shy about talking to us either. We are more than welcome to talk to our fans.
We literally reply to everyone.
Yeah, we will talk to everyone. We love each and every single one of you guys. It's only because of you that we could ever reach at any pinnacle point of our lives. Like, that's only going to be because of you guys.
And two, like, sometimes it's not the most timely manner, but we will reply to you, and it really is us. Like, it's not, you know, somebody that, like, we're paying to, like, reply to everybody. Like, we really care about, like, your problems, your issues, and, like, if you want to talk to us about them, maybe we have some experience that we can kind of give you some advice on and help you through it.
Cool. Well, thank you, guys. We'll wrap up today. So, yeah, thank you for joining me on my show. And if you want to hear them, go to their Facebook page. Alternatively, you can listen to my show because it's going to be on, it will be on the show that follows this podcast. So their track will be on there. Alternatively, you can go to SoundCloud and you can hear it there as well. All right, so thank you. So thank you, Adam, Josh, and Clint from Brothers Grimm. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
I'd like to welcome Philip to this week's show. He is the frontman and guitarist of Swedish band Rave The Reqviem. Hello, Philip.
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty okay, thanks. Caught a nasty cold, but I'll manage. No problem.
Okay, cool. Okay, just for the benefit of my listeners, can we get a brief history of Rave The Reqviem?
Yeah, of course. Rave The Requiem was founded in 2011 as a one-man project at that time. And the idea behind the project was to make like a crazy fusion of metal music, rock music, and different electronic styles such as dubstep, drum and bass, and electro-industrial. So we released our first demo tape in 2013, and a few months later we got signed by DWA, our record label, and the album was released in April 2014, which was our debut album. So that's pretty much it.
Cool. Yeah. So essentially you're a new band.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I guess we turned into a band around 2013, late 2013, and by the time of the release of the debut album, we were pretty much a standard band. But our drummer entered the band pretty late, I guess only about 6 months ago, something like that. So we haven't been a real live band for that long, but now we are. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So your new album, or your first album, is self-titled.
Yeah.
And like you say, it came out recently as well. So what are your plans for this year in support of that album?
Trying to do as many live gigs as possible. One of the highlights is definitely the Resistance Festival in Sheffield, UK.
Oh, yes. Yep.
That's going to be really awesome. There are lots of great bands there, and the promotion to play there is beyond awesome. So that's going to be really cool. Also now in February, we're playing at a local metal club, and that's going to be pretty awesome as well. That's actually the first time we play at like a regular metal music place. So that's going to be really cool. That's going to be really cool.
No,
try out that audience a little bit.
Yes, see if they can dig that sound. But the
exactly.
Resistance Festival I've heard of in Sheffield. I've never actually been to. A few of my friends go to it on a regular basis. So yeah, that sounds really cool because the UK sort of hardcore dance side of things there was quite an underground movement not long ago.
Yeah. Exactly. I've got a lot of English fans in general.
Yeah, no, it sounds really cool.
Seem to really dig my stuff.
Yes. No, I mean, like you say, your album's really cool.
Thanks.
I listened to it a few times now. I've had it on my MP3 player, and it is a real good mix of like the EDM and the rock side of things. It's a well balanced, a real heavy, thick sound as well. Which is really cool. And like, obviously, I play your stuff on my radio show and stuff as well. So if people want to hear it, they can tune into my radio show. They'll know when it's on. So
sounds great.
But yeah, no, it's I was just going to go on to the next one. Your musical influences. I mean, I can hear a few within the sound. I just wanted to know what yours were.
Oh my God, that's a really difficult question. It's such a wide range of stuff. But in general, I'm a huge fan of the late 90s new metal scene, like Slipknot, Korn, Rob Zombie, Static X, Powerman 5000, and those bands. Ministry is also a huge influence. Yeah. But in general, I should be honest with you. I listen, for example, to a lot of traditional 80s pop music, like radio pop music, and that have influenced my choruses quite a bit. So it's pretty difficult to answer. I like a lot of modern electronic stuff like dubstep and drum and bass and shit like that. So, but I would say primarily it's the new metal, the American new metal scene of the late 90s.
Yeah. That's a heavy influence on me as well. But I love that sound. But I mean, I was listening to your music. You have obviously the sort of the heavy bass music, rock music, but you also have like a real sort of like the female vocals to it. It's very it reminded me of kind of that kind of Nightwish
exactly,
but crossed with like some of the sort of death metal type things when they have like the operatic singers, because obviously your voice is quite gruff and quite like you got a lot of growl on it, but then you've got this like sweet harmony come in as the chorus and stuff, and it's really catchy. Especially on Aeon. When I first heard it, I was listening to it, and it was like, okay, this is like industrial, like rock metal, And then that vocal came in. I'm like, wow, what a contrast,
It's really cool, and that's, I guess, is the softest song on the album. So it's really hit friendly, and that's also why we chose to make a single out of it, and also to record a video.
Yeah. And if anyone's listening, whoever's listening, can go check that out on YouTube.
It's a really awesome video.
So obviously you say you're gonna play as many live shows as possible.
Yeah.
Ideally, who would you love to tour with?
Combi Christ would probably be a really good fit for us. I guess their audience would be, I think at least they would really appreciate what we're doing here, especially since Combi Christ has become more of a metal band recently, but also has the roots in electronic music.
Yeah.
But of course, Rammstein would be the obvious answer. Of course,
yes.
but that's pretty difficult to get an opening slot there. So
yeah, I can imagine.
let's go for a Combi Christ first.
Cool. Yeah. Do you have any plans to come over to the States?
Of course. Right now, it's a financial question. It's pretty expensive to fly over 5 people there. But I've got a lot of contacts in. I know a few promoters in Texas, in Atlanta, and the New England area, like New York and Pennsylvania. Okay. I also have a few contacts in Seattle, who wanted to book us, and Columbus, Ohio, as well as Detroit. So maybe we could do a little mini tour in the future. So if there's money and if there's enough interest, and I would love to go there. It seems like the American audience really dig my stuff as well.
Yeah.
So that's worked out really well.
That's cool. Yeah, because I mean, it kind of obviously the sound we keep going. It's like it's the electronic dance music, but with the rock, and electronic dance music here is a growing music industry.
Yeah,
it's still quite compared to Europe. It's really primitive, but because it's growing, it's becoming like the third staple in music. Because obviously you've got country music and you've got rock music here. You've got hip hop as well. So you've already got 3, but this is becoming like the 4th because it's kind of melding into these things. Like you've got I think it's Avicii worked with a country artist and made a song.
Yeah, all right.
And then you've got obviously we've had the dubstep influence through a lot of the metal acts here. So things like Korn's album. They work with like Skrillex and Excision and stuff. And obviously
really good. The Path of Totality was the name, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Really good album.
Yeah, and it's creeping in. I mean, round where I am, obviously Miami's the sort of like hub of EDM, I think, in the States.
Yeah, I think so as well. I've never really considered Florida being a state for metal music and alternative electronic music. It feels pretty Latino, to be honest, like traditional house music and stuff like that. That was my general feeling, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be, like where I live now, it used to be very, very metal. It used to be the hub of death metal, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that now.
That element still exists here, but whether... I mean, like I said, a lot of the dance music is a lot of the house music. Like you say, it's very Latino in its nature, and it is a lot of the clubs and events that I've seen are highly influenced on that side of things. But there is movement because there's still a rock and metal movement around here. So I've got a feeling that that's going to collide at some point, and hopefully make something. Rather nice.
I really hope so as well. I would love to play in Florida. Love that state.
Yes.
Wonderful.
No, it's a great place. Like I said, I've lived here for 2 years, and it's obviously I miss the UK,
jealous.
But it's warm.
It's warm and it's comfortable. Yeah,
exactly.
I know. I've been there. I did a road trip. We flew to Orlando, and then we went down to your place, Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. We were in St. Petersburg and St. Pete Beach, and then we drove down to the Fort Lauderdale area, Deerfield Beach. So I've been there, and I know it's totally great, and I'm pretty jealous of you, to be honest. I want to return there as soon as possible.
Well, if you're ever over here, let me know, because we can.
Of course, I will.
Obviously, if you're going to play,
I'll buy you a beer. Promise.
Excellent, thank you. Cool. So when you approach creating your music, when you take into the elements of the electronic elements and the I suppose organic elements of like the guitars and things like that.
Yeah. So
what's your process like? Do you start with say you come up with a guitar riff, or is it more you're working like say in the studio on an electronic beat? And you come up with, just that kind of hook, is it? Or is it just something that kind of falls together?
It depends a lot on the situation and the song. But in general, I write most of my music when I'm doing something entirely like totally different things. Like especially when I'm right before I fall asleep, I usually come up with the best melodies, and while I'm walking or while I'm in the car driving. But usually, in at least maybe 7 times out of 10, I begin with a beat, a general idea of the song, and I pretty quickly hear the guitars as well. So I would say that the guitar is probably the thing that I begin with. That's the foremost instrument, and then I build electronic stuff on top of that. But it could as well be a chorus, but that's also pretty organic. So I would say that the organic material is the first thing in the process. I would say so, because when I write the choruses, I always sit down by the piano. Yeah. So that has nothing to do with the software technique and the electronic stuff in the computer. So the organic stuff always comes first.
Cool. And you produce everything yourself, is that right? Or did you have Yeah. Cool. So you did the album yourself?
Yep. Cool. I wrote everything, lyrics and music, and produced it myself.
Oh, wow. A one-man band right there.
Yeah. Still one man with a small army.
That's awesome. What programs do you use, if you don't mind me asking, to do your production and everything?
For me, it's Cubase. Cool. It has always been. I think that's great. Some people think it's a little bit too complicated, but I like that control. You're able to really be in control of every single detail. Nothing is for free in that program. You really need to work for it, and I like that.
That's very true.
And then I use like tons of different software, but I don't want to reveal too much. But I can say that my absolute number one favorite is Massive, Native Instruments Massive. That's where I do pretty much everything, like distorted bass drops, weird leads, and they really got some nice pads there as well. It's not really the ordinary preset player. It's more like a real synthesizer. Yeah. And I think it creates an individual sound, which I really like. Doesn't sound like anything else. So
there's so many options with it. It's
exactly.
It's one of those things. Like a lot of people use it, and like it had a stigma at one point where you're just using Mac, because people were using the default sounds. But if you explore that plugin, it is crazy. I was the same, because I like when I first started using it, because I use I learned on Cubase when I was in college. And I've sort of gone through a few of the doors now, and I'm now Ableton, which really works for me, which is great. I'm using it right now to record this, in fact. So, but it's no. When I first got Massive, I was just like looking at it, and like you get a lot of the presets, and you hear, oh, that's what that sounds like. Oh, that's how they did this. And like as I got like really bored with those sounds, I was just like, okay, let's see what it can do. And I just like blank canvassed it. Yeah. And started just turning the knobs like randomly, and then like suddenly find all these sounds. I'm like, this is amazing. No one's heard I haven't heard this at all.
And that's the thing you're always reaching for, because I don't even remember the last time I just picked a preset and did nothing to it. I always open up the editor and use different filters and tweak it and turn the knobs, so I always try to make it as individual and unique as possible. Yeah. And that's primarily also because I'm not really satisfied with the sound. It's more like I find a sound which I think, well, this might need a little bit of work, but when I'm there, this is going to sound great. So it's just rough material that I'm starting to work with.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's cool. I mean, I produce little bits of music here and there. I used to be in a band about a couple of years ago, but now I like just do like little like EDM tracks and stuff here and there. But I love creating music from just electronic stuff, because whereas I used to like you play an instrument and I took everything up, mic everything up, and now I don't know. And then they started coming out with emulators and stuff, and that was great. And now you can just plug it straight into your computer, and it's you've got everything there. So
exactly. It's really user friendly. So some people think that the elitists think that you should always use hardware, but come on, guys, this is the future. Welcome to the 21st century. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can use hardware if you want to spend that extra time, which is fine. But a lot of those sounds can be achieved within like the software itself. Yeah. I mean, even just plugging my guitar straight into my literally straight into the computer or straight into the audio interface.
Yeah, exactly.
There's plugins now, like you had Guitar Rig back in the day, but that's probably still around. But, you know, you've got all these emulators where you can emulate. You don't have to have, like, a huge stack of speakers behind you.
No, exactly. I use Guitar Rig 5 personally, so I think that's great material, and I know lots of different professional studios that use that shit constantly, because if you know what you're doing, and if you're able to tweak a really good sound, you could create a professional production only by putting your guitars through the Guitar Rig VST. So that's really good, really good software.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm gonna have to find my copy of it then if it's still around.
Yeah, you should. And the thing is that it has really cool effects for other stuff in the studio as well. For example, I sometimes use it for my vocals, which is really awesome, because it works really good, because they have really good compressors and limiters and delay emulators and stuff like that. So I would really recommend it for lots of stuff. It's really user friendly and great software.
Cool. I'm gonna have to look that up again, I think. So.
Yeah, you should.
So, how's the? I know it's not been out that long, but how's the album been received?
Very well, beyond expectations. So far, we usually get lots of really great reviews. Usually, we get like 8 or 9 out of 10 stars in reviews. Wow. So that's really great. And as well, we ended up on many Album of the Year lists. So, that's really beyond expectations. You know, it being a debut album and everything, I must say that it's amazing. Yeah. It's really amazing that I did something that people really enjoyed, because, you know, I'm out in pretty, you know, deep water creating this fusion, because you never really know whether people are going to like it or not, you know, because some people might really like it. But on the other hand, I was kind of worried that maybe people preferred real metal and real electronics and wouldn't really like the thing in between those things. But it turned out that the metal fans really liked it and the electronic fans really liked it. So I really managed to do something good, and I'm really proud of it.
Excellent. It is a really well put together album.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm really satisfied with it as well. Of course, as a producer and a songwriter, you're always critical towards your own work. Yeah. But in the end, I think it's a really good product. I really do. It's a good debut album. It is.
With your album, was there a specific message behind it, or is it just a combination of many different things?
Both, I guess. Yeah. I guess that was the purpose, you know, creating a fusion that people would like. But I don't know if you mean like lyric-wise and such.
Yeah, lyric-wise. It's sort of like the message you're portraying in your songs.
Yeah, for me, lyrics are pretty important, to be honest. And almost all of my lyrics are about emotions, like the pain of being alive, the everyday struggles. But I also, as a lot of people notice, use a lot of religious imagery and religious symbols when I write about music, like the Ascension, for example, like Christian symbols and such. And that's not because we are a Christian band, because we're not. But I'm simply really inspired by religion in general, you know, the symbols and the mythology and stuff like that. You know, it's really powerful. It's really dramatic and self-centered, much like me. So I guess I just hate mankind just as much as God does. So I really did that shit. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Philip. Thank you for joining me on my podcast. And good luck with the album and the rest of this year. I hope it goes really well for you. And thank you again.
Thanks a lot, man. Take care.
No worries. Thank you. And we come to the end of another DJ Force X podcast. Thank you for being patient with this one being released. I hope you enjoyed the double header. I've already got one recorded for next week, so they'll definitely be on up then. I've got the guys from Seething Akira, and I'll also have The Taking as well the week after that, most probably. But I have them already in the vault. I might even release them a bit sooner just to sort of catch up on myself. But we'll find out if I got time after this one. But yes, once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being patient. And until next time, this is DJ Force X out.